This is a Let's Talk Church Safety and Security microsode with your host, Paul Buckner. Hey sheepdogs, this is the fourth installment of the realities of a gunfight. Be prepared to be at a disadvantage. So the bad guy gets to pick the time, the bad guy gets to pick the place, the bad guy gets to pick the target, i.e. the person, what they want to attack, or persons. And the bad guy gets to pick the weapon. The bad guy only has to get it right once. We have the cost of eternal vigilance. We have to always be watching. The bad guy only has to get it right once. The bad guy has an opportunity to plan and to look for weaknesses. If you have enough time to plan an attack, no fortress is impregnable. History has shown that again and again and again. Whenever somebody says this fortress is impregnable, it cannot be breached, somebody does. Be prepared to be at a disadvantage. Bad guys are learning, and please do not mistake this. First off, you have less than a 1% chance that your church will ever see potentially lethal violence, a knife or a gun. Less than a 1% chance. But when it comes to your door, it will come to your door hard, and it will come to your door fast. And I would rather train for 1,000 years for a day that never comes than face that day with no preparation. And I hope I go to my grave and I never have to shoot anybody. I hope I go to my grave and I never have to use the skills that God has been providing me with. But be prepared to be at a disadvantage. Bad guys are learning. Please don't think for a minute that bad guys are not learning. Please don't think for a minute that bad guys are not reading books, that bad guys are not planning things. A lot of these guys that plan an attack, the guy that did the Sutherland Springs shooting had all of the equipment. The guy that did the shooting at New Life 20 years ago had all the equipment. The Columbine kids had planned it. It's a planned thing. And a lot of these folks, they want to leave a legacy, which is the warped mindset, but they fully intend to harm people, and they want their name remembered. They want a high score. And we also have to remember, we need to be prepared for the fact that some of these lone wolf attackers are going to stop being lone wolves. It's super easy to get into private chats through Messenger or whatever, and through various locations online to find somebody who thinks like you. Increasingly, our culture is becoming an echo chamber where people do not listen to other thoughts and ideas at all. So what's happening is we have folks that they'll get into this echo chamber mindset and they won't ever come out of it. And when they do this, when they don't come out of this mindset, it can spiral. Now you've got people that both people want to harm people, and they decide to get together. And I'm going to tell you, two bad guys working in tandem can cause a problem. So be prepared to be at a disadvantage. Be prepared, if and when it ever happens, be prepared for the bad guy to be wearing body armor, or at least a plate carrier. Be prepared for them to have multiple weapons. I mean, this is the worst case scenario. Be prepared for them to cause diversions. Be prepared for it to be a multi-location attack, i.e. there's a hit and fade attack across town, and then there's another one coming at you, coming at your location. The Sutherland Springs shooter, based on what Frank Pomeroy told us during one of our interviews, literally looks like he had planned to attack another location and do a hit and fade attack and then go to his primary target. Be prepared to go into a lockdown because of something that happens in another area. And then there's also a potential with terrorism, and I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but imagine 10 simultaneous shootings in an area that's a hit and fade attack, and then they go do it again somewhere else. That is also a strong possibility down the road. I pray it never comes to our soil. So be prepared to be at a sharp disadvantage, and you have to be vigilant, and you're not going to have time to run to your vehicle and get your truck going. it's just going to go down. If you enjoyed this microsode, check out the video and audio versions of the Let's Talk Church Safety and Security podcast.